This is Lauren.
This is Trey.
And this
is the Partnership Podcast. I'm kind of good.
Okay.
Let's roll.
Okay. Welcome back, gentle audience. We're here. We're about to go on a European adventure. So we are going to batch record. If you are watching, you're going to see us in the same clothes week after week after week. If you're just listening, you won't notice a difference. We are going to talk about panic attacks and partnership and panic attacks. And the fact that up until recently, Trey had never had panic attacks in his whole life and has now had 2. And how we have worked through that, how he has overcome it, not overcome it, they are just a part of life sometimes, what he's experiencing. And then you had some really cool questions about how we support one another during something like that, because these things happen. And so, yeah, you want to tell the story? And then we'll kind of talk about partnership and what I could have done differently, what I was observing. We started having this conversation and you know what happened? We said, save it for the chairs. Yeah. So we haven't really even broached this subject together yet. So yeah, what background do you want to give?
So just setting the frame. We were in New York City. We're in Manhattan for spring break. So we had the baby who's 15. We had her best friend who's also, she's 16. It was me and Lauren. We were getting on the Amtrak train to come home. The train is, I've done this trip 20 times, 40 times, whatever the number is. So when you get on, I like to go all the way to the very furthest section because the train fills up like sequentially. And so we were walking, and I asked who wants to lead. I asked this to Lauren. She goes, you lead. I go, great. And then Lauren said like, hey, Trey's leading. And so we get on one of the cars and the baby, I want to go right to continue going downstream, to continue going as far away from the entrance as possible. The baby goes left. I don't say anything. I end up following the baby left. We stop because there's so many people. People are now coming behind us. There's now just people everywhere. And I lose my voice. Instead of saying, hey, baby, follow me, which would have been so easy, I end up following her. People are everywhere. I get it in my head that there aren't any seats. We start walking. I get it in my head that like everybody's going to have to sit single. Who's going to help the baby get her like luggage up? And all of this is going on while there's just people everywhere on a train, bags going up, bags across, everywhere. And I basically go into a vortex of panic. And I don't know. I essentially just shut down. And I start almost like kind of protecting myself, like somebody's throwing something at me. So I start rounding my body. I start shoulders. If you're watching this, like shoulders, head goes down, everything like goes to protect my vital organs. Mm-hmm. Nobody knows what the fuck's going on in me. They have no idea. Lauren, she comes in and she's like, okay, just keep going forward. And then we're at the cafe cart, and every train pretty much has like a place, say for handy-capable people, or bicycles, where there's an area where there aren't any seats where you can just kind of move over to the side. She literally goes, move over to the side. I'm going to go find 4 seats, to which in my mind is like, that's impossible. And I just basically start shutting down in front of 2 teenage girls. I'm 41. And Lauren calls me 45 seconds later, if that, says, keep going forward. I've got 4 seats, which I just start going forward. Wall continuing to like rounded, head down, kind of almost trying to escape inside of myself. I can't really make eye contact with people. The people that I do notice that there's something going on with me. But I continue to move. What else? Yeah, we get in the sure enough, she has 4 seats, which she's saving. I think I say, like, great job. We get the luggage up, and then I go next to the window, and I basically stick my fingers in my ears and kind of go into a crouching position like I'm about to throw up. I don't think it just, that's what it looked like. And there it was. And then it took a couple of minutes for me to come back to myself, and then I sat up, and so I fully broke down. And then I came out of it. And Lauren saved me.
May I ask a follow-up question?
Please.
Good storytelling. What thoughts were you having about your own experience while your own experience was going on?
Oh, this was a thought of, it's almost like you're falling. So it's the sensation of falling in a dream.
Yes. Yes.
And it's slowly falling and you can't really control it.
Yes.
And then the thought of this shouldn't be happening right now does not help. And then the thought of, like, I don't even think there was that, like, snap out of it.
Okay. No.
There wasn't that. There wasn't a snap out of it. It was it's hard to describe, like, what your face goes to, what your body feels. It's really, really hard. It's not rational. And I have a rational mind. Yeah, I have a good imagination, and I think a lot of magical things happen through imagination, and I'm a firm believer in thoughts are things. So ideas are very powerful. It's like strapping into a roller coaster.
Mm-hmm.
You can't control the roller coaster. You're just there for the ride.
Yes. Yes.
And then it makes no sense.
No.
It's not rational because 99.9% of the time you control the ride, as in your own body.
Yes.
Can I ask some follow-up questions to you?
Sure. A couple other things. Do you remember being able to breathe very well? Did that feel tight, restricted?
No, I didn't have any breathing
Okay.
issues. I think I was probably breathing heavily.
Yeah.
But it wasn't any restricted breathing
Okay.
issues. I'm sure it was irregular.
And then
Everything about my, like, literally, if you were to look at me, it's like, that guy's irregular.
we will talk about my experience. Yeah. But any ear ringing in the ears, that's typical
Little
of a panic
bit,
attack.
maybe. I couldn't really hear anything.
Yes.
But I wasn't really focused on anything, and then I was not making eye contact with other
No,
people.
but some people will describe like a sound, like almost muffledness, like almost like everything else becomes just white noise almost.
The thing I remember most is bags and people everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
I just remember everything collapsing.
Yeah. Okay. Is this the first time this has happened?
Yes, in this sequence. Not first panic attack, but I'm actually very hesitant to compare
Yeah. No,
both experiences. I would love to
unique.
focus on this experience.
Okay, great. I just think it's interesting that you'd only ever had one before. And I do think the audience deserves to know that Brene Brown's fucking first time, I do think you were a champ at handling this in a, I don't want to say better because this is not about better or worse. I do believe that the first one gave you a little bit more insight into this one.
Sure.
And so I do think that bears saying. That's it. We don't need to go into the first one, but the first one, there was nausea and vomiting and
There's like dry heaving.
dry heaving.
The
Yeah,
two,
exactly.
The two that, how they are compared is like the story in my head escalated so quickly.
Yes, and I agree with you. Let's keep it to this one. And I do think that when you've had one, the wonderful benefit is you do know it's going to end because it escalates so fast. Anyone who has experienced a panic attack, all of it, it's not there, and then all of a sudden it is, and you didn't logically put yourself there, so you don't know logically how to get out or when it's going to end. So knowing that something does pass and that you will survive is helpful.
It was 20 seconds, and then I was almost completely debilitated.
Yes.
And then looking back, say if I could flip a switch, the solution would have been just to continue to move casually forward.
Mm-hmm.
There was nothing pressing going on. It was a story that was kind of made up in my head. Yes, there were a lot of people, but I've been in those situations plenty of times.
No, getting on the train, like you said, so you've
40,
done
50
this
times. Yeah,
so
many
this
times.
exact thing. This was not new.
And the literal solution would have been just to continue to go forward casually.
Laugh.
If I could go back and renegotiate in my imagination, that's what I'm doing. I'd just be like, hey, oh, baby, follow me. Literally that. Oh, let's go this way.
Yeah.
That's it. And then going forward. Can I ask some questions?
Sure.
When did you first identify that there was something wrong? What did you notice?
When I looked back over my shoulder, so yeah, I was in between Trey and the baby, and then her best friend was kind of behind her. And they were both kind of eyeing the same car, is what I could see was happening. And from my vantage point, Trey was going to take the next entrance into the same train car. And she saw what I perceived was a break in the people. And I foresaw that she was also watching you and was like, hey, let's just go in here. Like, it just felt like a suggestion. And she did start to move her body in that way. But then I saw you go, oh, okay. And I thought, okay, like great leadership. Like we're all communicating. This is great. And then as Trey said, so y'all, this was also spring break. And so there were we sound like such snobs, but there were a lot of tourists. There were a lot of people we have done this many times. There were a lot of people on this train who had never done this, and a lot of big groups traveling together. And the Amtrak is amazing, but you don't have reserved seats. And so there are all of these school groups from Virginia trying to get on this train, and they are disorganized as heck. So I do want to give you some credit. It's kind of chaos in there. And even when we were in line to go down to the train platform, the baby said to me, wow, there's so many people. Like, I've never seen this many people. Like, usually we're in a line with maybe 10 or 15 or something like that. But this was a lot of people. So we get in and it's chaos and I'm kind of groaning. But at the same time, it's like the Amtrak does not oversell seats. I'm like, we will get to it. So I look back over my shoulder. Trey, it is literally from the time that I see you, we reroute, we're in chaos in this aisle, kind of laughing at what's going on. I turn around though. So now it's me behind maybe the baby and the best friend. And I look back at my precious partner and you are collapsed on yourself. And your face, at first I thought you were pulling face. What's that phrase, when you're like, kind of like
an exaggerated face.
At first I thought you were being over dramatic at the baby, because those two can sometimes irritate each other.
You thought I was doing a bit.
I thought you were really frustrated with her.
Okay.
And so my first thought, full transparency, was like, get it together, bud. Yeah. Like, this does not need to be a big thing.
Sure.
But I see you kind of crumple, as he said, onto himself, and he starts pulling at his face. He literally injured like his smile lines right here. I don't know if he did it with his nails, but he was pulling down and his elbow would go like on the chair of a seat, and he was like shaking his head violently and pulling at his face in exasperation is what it looked like. I looked back and I was like, okay, can't fix that. That's what I thought at first. Then we continue to go forward. And we're like inching, like snail's pace. I look back, it's gotten worse. And you could tell that his focus had narrowed so much. And now the baby's looking back at me. She's kind of getting panicky too. They are the same person. And so I say, just go to the cafe car. So it was that moment that I knew, and I didn't feel panicked, but I was like, I've got to take over. I have no idea what's happening to Trey. So then I get you guys all to the cafe car. And as Trey said, there was like a space for luggage and wheelchairs and all that kind of stuff. And I said, like, I basically like shoved them in. I think I was kind, but I was like, all of you need to stay here with all of our stuff. I will go find 4 seats. And again, there were so many people, but that's when, if Trey could have been in the fetal position, he would have been in the fetal position. If you could have been sitting or crumpled or under covers, you would have been. It was a standing fetal position. And that's when I was like, oh my goodness, like, I think he's having a panic attack. And there's no time to comfort or provide anything. I think the greatest thing I can provide is a calm heart, calm mind, and seats, quite honestly.
Yeah, safety.
Yeah.
Seats equal safety.
We don't need to be together, quite
No,
honestly.
just everybody
and
in
so
a
I just
seat
needed
equals
to go
safety in my mind.
find some seating. And sure enough, all I did is go one car forward. I mean, I went through 2 cafe cars. And then there was lots of seats.
At that time, I did say to the baby, like, I thought I was leading. Like, why didn't you follow me?
Okay.
To which she responded, like, why didn't you ask me to? Like, I didn't hear that part. Why didn't you ask me? And I didn't have any capacity to go back and forth.
Yeah, I think
but
the
I did
who's
say
leading
that to her.
conversation was you and I up at the front of
Yeah.
the escalator when we made
You
this
said it
route.
out loud. You said it out loud, but like,
Yeah. I don't think she thought it was like a dire thing, you know? I mean, we've gotten, again, she's been with us getting on trains so many times before, and that has never happened. So anyway, we got to our seats. Trey was still so helpful. So when I called, he answered right away, which I was really glad because I didn't know how to. I knew I could leave like my coat and my sunglasses and my phone there and go back. But I was so glad you answered the phone and they came forward. And by this point, the train starts moving. The good thing is, like, nobody's going to be inconvenienced. Once they get you all loaded on the train, it just kind of starts moving and you find a seat. It all does work out. It does shuffle. And Trey was still helpful. He still put all the things up. I was kind of shocked because you were not in your right mind. You were just going through the motions and you sat down and then he again, fetal position. He curled up against the window, put his fingers in his ears, like to plug the sound. And he wasn't rocking per se, but again, if you can imagine a grown man in a fetal position against a window, that's where he was. And the only thing I kept hearing was calm heart, calm mind. Like, you need to soothe yourself, Lauren. You need to breathe incredibly deeply. So for those who might not know, I have a previous work career in birth work. And whenever someone's going through a panic attack, I find it so similar to the childbirth experience. And there are times where you can be actively doing something. There are other times where you can co-regulate the birthing person just through your breath. And so I don't know if you knew or not, but I was sitting beside you, just calmly making my exhalation longer than my inhalation, just sending you real love and energy. Tried not to touch right away until you came a little further out.
thank you.
Because I didn't want to do anything that could frighten you. And I think so often in partnership, we will take something that's going on and then make it about ourselves. And I really didn't want to do that then. There was no place for how can I help? There was no place for what do you need or tell me what to do. When someone is having a panic attack, they're in a vortex. You can hold space, you can protect, you can be a safe container, you can guard them. And then you can wait. You can say things like, I'm here. I'm here. It's going to make me cry. I didn't say it very audibly. I said it very quietly. I'm here. You're safe. And it's all someone needs to know until they come back into their body. They are gone. And yeah, it was really beautiful to watch you slowly come back online. You took your time. I think once I saw some eye contact from you, I think then I offered just a reassuring touch. There was no like lovey-dovey. It was just there. Yeah. Then you came too. I mean, it did. It took a while. I would say you didn't even bring your head up until after the first or second train stop.
It's about 5 minutes. I'd say it was 5 minutes.
We were past Trenton.
10 minutes?
We were
Really?
past Trenton.
Okay. All right.
But I even thought, honey, I hadn't realized that much time had gone by. That's what I thought.
Okay.
Is like, wow, this has been something we've been doing, is taking care of this. And that's fine. It's fine. There was no like, ugh. Then favorite part was came to, took a while. And then I want to say 25 minutes in, maybe 30, turned around to the girls who were seated right behind us and just explained what had happened. and felt
Can I have a
like,
listening turn?
yeah,
Yeah, natural face.
yeah, go.
Thank you. Yeah, as a man, as a 41-year-old man, it is, boy, it's an experience to completely shut down when the task is so simple in front of two teenage girls. It's so I've been unwinding kind of the shame that I've felt. And thank you so much. Like, you saved me. It was the highlight of my day just to watch you spring into action and support me. Once I came to, I knew part of we try to complete cycles. And I knew part of completing this cycle, or a step, was to turn around. The girls were right behind me and just say, like, hey, so back there I experienced a panic attack, and baby, when you turned left, I could have just said, hey, follow me. I lost my voice, and I'm sorry if I caused any stress for you two. Like, you two did not do anything wrong. So I wanted to make sure and say that to them. Yeah, you can't get off the ride when you want to. And the following day, driving, I'd have some tremors where it'd be like, oh, this is back. And then I came to the conclusion of, like, oh, my confidence isn't here right now. What do I need to do to get my confidence back? Or, like, what do I need? For weeks, I had been inflow, outflow. There'd been a lot of inflow on politics and war and U.S. positioning and world positioning. And I said to myself, yeah, you need a break from that. If you want to listen to music, great. If you want to listen to smooth jazz or, I don't know, megahertz tones, great. If you want to listen to old comedy podcasts, great. So no inflow on that. And then I lost my ability to communicate, which is one of my superpowers. So it's like, oh, when opportunities present themselves to communicate really well, take advantage. You don't need to insert yourself, but just when they do, there was a beautiful opportunity on the golf course where there were 3 groups and one group was in a blind spot. So I communicated nonverbally, like over 200 yards with one of the groups with hand signals. Then I was talking to my group and talking to that group. And I was like, oh, great job. That was a neat little way of getting my confidence back. A way to get my confidence back is to acknowledge. Like, it doesn't feel good to experience that or be, one of the leaders of this household and almost be completely useless, or to have to be taken care of like a child. It doesn't feel good, but it happened. We had sex the following morning, and you initiated this lovely sexual encounter, and there were flashes in my mind of, like, why would Lauren want to have sex with me? Like, wouldn't she want somebody else that can take care of themselves, or that she doesn't have to take care of? And so part of my healing process is just saying these things out loud. And that helps complete the cycle. Thank you.
You're welcome. We had dinner with best friend Jay shortly after we got back. And ironically, best friend Jay had also had a panic attack the days before. And it was heartbreaking to listen to you two share stories of what the panic attacks caused you to feel about yourselves as people in male bodies. I could cry just thinking about it. Cultural scripts run deep. Our best friend Jay identifies as a homosexual male, right? Completely different orientation than Trey. And yet it was almost verbatim. The beliefs you two had come to about yourselves because of these panic attacks, about a man's role, about, I asked you to fill in the blank of how could she possibly want me, or she must think fill in the blank. And I asked him the same thing, like what must his coworkers or his directors at his job, because he had a panic attack on the job, what must they think? And it was almost the same stuff. This idea of, my job is to provide value and to provide and support and protect, and I'm a failure, right? I was like, oh, whoa. So anyway,
my job was to get on a train.
I know.
I've done it before. I'll do it again.
You
But
will.
yeah. And then the thoughts of like, why would you want to have sex with me? Then I get it too, where it's like, oh, he can't take care of himself.
And it's ironic because this week I made a reel on attraction and how caretaking is the greatest anti-aphrodisiac.
Yeah, stinks.
You know that. And so I just want to know that it does not apply to panic attacks. They are the body's safety-seeking choice when it feels overwhelmed, and they don't make logical sense, and it's okay. It is okay. And you did exactly what someone should do, which is take an assessment of what may be coming in that that needs a break. Yeah. And what they can do to regain a more sure footing. But well done. And it was my joy and my honor to carry you through that. And I know you'd do the same for me. I know you would. Proud of you. Thank you for sharing about it. Thank you for coming to this episode of the Partnership Podcast with Lauren and Trey. Please take what you like, leave the rest. We really just wanted to do a story time about what happens in real time when one partner has a panic attack and what the other one can do and what that looks like. If you want to learn more about working with me, you can go to sexedforyou.com/free consult. Please know that you have a right to informed decision-making and self-determination. Have a great rest of your day. Bye-bye.